You art kids are such little weirdos, and I say that with love. So let's talk about some more weird art habits that I know you do. Don't even try to deny it. Let's go. Artists and their tools. Oh, where do I even start? There's the tool juggler. You're holding 3 pens, 2 pencils, maybe a brush or 2, all in one hand while somehow trying to draw with the 5th. And it feels kind of genius, right? Until one slips and rolls under the desk and suddenly you're crawling around the floor, muttering, looking like a mad scientist on a scavenger hunt. But you just never know, like maybe you're gonna need all the tools in your other hand in the next 30 seconds. It's chaos, but it's like organized chaos. Then there is this one that I like to call the improvised ruler. Like, who needs real rulers? We have credit cards, ID cards, coasters, or phones, anything nearby that vaguely looks straight. And yeah, the line comes out crooked, a little bent, maybe wobbly, but that's fine because art isn't about straight lines. Art is about looking like you tried and spectacularly failed. And sometimes the crooked line adds character, so keep that in mind. Then there's also the mouth as pincushion move. A tiny blending stump, marker cap, or maybe even a small eraser clutched between your lips while your hands are busy. That's kind of genius, right? Until you try to talk and suddenly you're choking, coughing, flailing, apologizing to no one, waving your hands like a wild person. But hey, the tool survived another 30 seconds, so that's victory. But I am begging you art kiddos, please do not try this at home. Then there's also the habit of the accidental tool swap. You pick up a brush thinking it's dry, nah, it's wet. You grab a pen thinking it's permanent, no, it's water soluble. Well, happens to the best of us. And lastly, let's not forget using non-art supplies as art supplies, like using paperclip as a brush scraper, or a spoon as a paint mixer, old gift card as a spatula. But I think it's kind of healthy that you get very creative with your tools, honestly. Keeps things spicy. But I have to bring this up. Can we address something here right now? Why the f are you guys eating your art supplies? Are you like okay? But I think we've all done it at some point, like maybe once, maybe 10 times. The crayon or pastel lick, you're working on a tiny detail and suddenly like one little lick and bam, the color pops. It's probably toxic, but it's like absolutely necessary. Not very delicious though. But sometimes great things just require desperate measures. Paint. Wait, no, that's the wrong one. I meant this one. The love of our lives and our number one enemy. First, let's talk about the classic moment, the dry brush panic. You pick up your brush and realize there's some paint on this one. And instead of doing literally the normal thing, getting a towel, you immediately start wiping it on whatever is closest. Your pants, your forehead, the corner of your desk, maybe even if your cat is nearby. And suddenly, you have created a permanent abstract masterpiece on literally everything. And while you're frantically wiping, your palette is a chaotic disaster. You didn't actually have a palette anyway, so the back of that junk mail envelope, the takeout container lid, or maybe even the snack wrapper you were about to throw away have all become temporary paint surfaces. Beautiful, efficient, questionable, but absolutely necessary. And of course, the horror lurking in the wet paint. The single horrifying stray hair, one hair small but powerful, embedded in your watercolor or acrylic, like it has a personal vendetta, using tweezers to get it out. That's for normal humans. You try to pick it out with a clean brush or your fingernail, or just will it away with sheer force of panic. What happens? Smears, chaos, destruction. Acrylic artists, I salute you, because that little cat hair is never, ever coming off. Ever. Once the piece is done, where does it go? Frame it? Protect it? No. You lean it somewhere random. I guess a stack of books next to your coffee mug, maybe right on top of that mess of supplies you've been ignoring. For months, it collects dusts. It becomes part of the desk ecosystem, and honestly, it looks kind of beautiful. And don't forget the drying paint peel. You leave the paint crust to dry for a while, stare at it, and then peel it off like it's a golden sheet of magic. Sure, technically, it's procrastination, but it's the best kind of procrastination. Pure sticky satisfaction, in my opinion. And let's not forget the swamp, the infamous dirty paint water jar. Some of us leave it there because cleaning is hard, you know? Some of us have gone even further than that, like accidentally drinking it. Yep, definitely happened. And suddenly you are tasting the soul of your chaos in liquid form. And there's also the sniff test. Okay, let's imagine it. You have 3 jars, one with clean water, one with turpentine or some scary chemical that you can't even pronounce, and one cloudy, mysterious jar that could literally be alive, I suppose. And what do? We sniff them carefully, hesitantly, like mad scientists performing an experiment that might kill us. Somehow we survive though. Somehow we continue to paint. Somehow we're still artists over here. You guys already know sketchbooks are my favorite thing to talk about. It's like the tiny little battlefield that holds all your hopes and your dreams, but also your crippling self-doubt. Honestly, I can't think of anything more lovely than that. There's the first page fear. The first blank page just stares at you like he knows every terrible decision you've ever made. Also, the page tearing trauma. Don't get me started on that one. One tiny mistake on the corner of the page, emotional devastation. The binding screams, your soul bleeds onto the page, and somehow you keep going because you are an artist, or maybe just insane. And let's not forget the back cover graveyard, the place where abandoned pen tests, failed swatches, and random doodles go to die. You look at it and it's like, wow, a tiny chaotic cemetery. But I just can't explain it. Something about it is so comforting. Also the weird obsession with margins, leaving the first centimeter of every page blank for like no reason, because it's sacred space. There's the invisible next page anxiety. If you finish a page and suddenly the next one just feels like a cliff, can't mess it up, can't read the first drawing, and you just stare at it. Tap your pen, maybe even eat a crayon for courage. Wait, no guys, don't actually do that. But oh, I love my sketchbooks. My little never finished babies. I like to call this the finish for now habit. So you sign your art, breathe, maybe even celebrate a bit, and then nope, something just needs changing. Just one tiny thing. And 2 hours later, existential crisis. Spiral of despair, redoing that tiny detail over and over again until you're muttering like, oh, why did I start this? Under your breath, like a tiny frustrated wizard. Then there's the spinning the paper dance. Every single line, a rotation. Clockwise, counterclockwise, upside down. Sometimes you even hold it above your head like a dramatic sacrifice to the art gods. You get kind of dizzy, you get frustrated, and you maybe even fall out of your own chair, but every line has to be slightly better, or at least slightly more chaotic. There's also the hyper focus trap, just finishing this one spot, like 2mm part of your drawing, and you stare, tweak, smear, overwork, groan, and repeat. And suddenly that tiny spot has consumed your entire life, and your coffee, and your sanity, and yet somehow it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, and let's not forget the pen panic. You're drawing with like one tool, but you keep looking at all the other ones wondering like, maybe the color could be better if I switched, maybe the line would be better if I used this, maybe I should start over completely. And now you're halfway through a drawing with 5 different pens, 3 pencils, 1 brush, and a crayon stuck on your sleeve. Yeah. Why do we make this so complicated for ourselves? I guess it's just part of the process. Alright, confession time. Comment your weirdest art habits so we can all drum a bond in the comments. And now I'll bring the crayons, the snacks. Alright, have a good rest of your day, art kiddos. Bye!